Selena,
Okay,
hi.
Jack, smile for a quick picture. Ready? Three, two, one. Got it.
All right.
What's up, Jack?
How you doing, sir?
Doing good. How are you?
Pretty good, pretty good. Sorry, I'm a little nervous. I never met an actor before.
Oh, dude, you're totally fine, man. It's very chill. This is like it's always fun getting to get to have just like a Zoom call with really nice people. That's really
Yeah.
lovely.
Before I start my little interview, I just want to say I want to thank you, Carrie and Monty, so much for creating Ruby. It changed my life completely, man. It's awesome.
Thank you so much for watching and supporting the show and all of us. I mean, we just had an idea that we thought would be really fun, and never in a million years did we think so many people would think it was so fun too. So
Yeah.
I'm really glad. I'm really glad you digging it.
Yeah. Thanks, man. So I have a few questions, if that's fine.
Yeah, hit me.
All right. So my first question is, out of all the characters you acted as, who was your favorite character to play?
Oh man, Felix was so much fun, mainly just because I normally I don't have like a crazy range. So I often get typecast as like kind of like a plucky comedic character, and getting to play just an absolute villain was so much fun and
That's
very,
awesome.
very cathartic. Yeah, Felix is a blast.
Yeah, that's cool. I actually in a Ruby roleplay I play Adam, and yeah, it
Oh,
really is
cool.
fun to. It really is fun to play a villain.
Yeah, man, he's a scary dude.
Yeah. My next question is, if you could have like any famous director to direct an episode of Ruby, who would it be?
Gendy Tartakovsky. Gendy
Nice.
Tartakovsky is probably one of my favorite animation directors, at least in the West. And I grew up watching his stuff. I still watch his stuff. Primal's so good. I just love how he uses the camera and framing, and like he's such strong posing. Um, I just think he could do like a really great like no dialogue episode of RWBY.
Oh, that's really cool.
It's a great question.
All right. So my next questions are for Ruby, and they're not Volume 9 or Ice Queen related. I think you guys are
Okay.
gonna talk about it more for RTX. My first question is, since you guys did a Red versus Blue episode where Ruby, or I mean, where Red versus Blue, where the Red versus Blue characters meet their real life creators, why not do the same for Ruby?
I think that would be a lot of fun. For the most part, I think while I was still working at Rooster Teeth, something that we learned was like we really enjoyed doing like funny comedy stuff like Ruby Chibi and stuff like that. But for the most part, fans would much rather have that time and those resources dedicated to like working on the actual like main show. And so sometimes we would get comments. It's like, oh, I wish instead of people doing this, like all this money could be spent on the main show, which like isn't necessarily how animation works. But I think if Rooster Teeth had all the time and money in the world, it would be fun to do something like that.
Yeah. And my next two questions are, what made you want to become an actor?
Well, it's funny because I wanted to become an actor when I was like in middle school, and that's mainly just because I was like really, really awkward growing up, and I didn't really know how to like talk with people. But I found that I could make people laugh, and so like I kind of attributed that ability to make people laugh with self-worth, which isn't the most healthy thing to do. But so for a while, I was like, oh yeah, acting, because like this, like I'm receiving positive attention for doing that, but over time I was like, no, I don't necessarily like. I like entertaining people, but I enjoy acting, but it's not what I love to do. What I love to do is to help create stories with like a team of people, and so writing is fun. I've really come to find that I enjoy directing. I think more, or at the very least, like writing. Like what I'm doing now is writing in video games, and essentially anytime I get to collaborate with other artists that have other specialties and just like get to peek into their world and how they do stuff, I just think it's really cool. And so yeah, for the most part, most of my acting is from just out of necessity. Like we couldn't afford to hire a ton of actors when we were doing Ruby and Red versus Blue all those years ago, and so just kind of got very fortunate and was able to fall into it, and I'm really grateful for that. So yeah.
That's cool. And my final question is, any tips on becoming a voice actor? Like, I just recently saw your scene with Cinder and with Jean and Cinder from Volume 5. Great job on that scene, by
Thank
the
you
way.
very much. That was a fun
So,
one.
do you have any tips on becoming a voice actor?
So the biggest thing is creating a demo reel. These should be like between 60 and definitely like no more than 75 seconds long. And it's something that you will need to have when like you can apply to work for different agencies, or you could submit like your reel to different studios like Okratron or Funimation will be like, you can submit like, hey, here's my resume, here's what I've done before. And then everybody's always going to ask what's for a reel. That should either, I think you should take one of two approaches. Either show off your acting range. So me, for example, I don't personally believe I have a huge range. Like Sung Won Cho has an incredible range. He can sound like a giant old guy or a little baby kid. I can only kind of sound like different shades of me. And so I try to focus on like, hey, this is my acting range. Because you need to be an actor first and foremost, and then the ability to do voices is like secondary. So I demonstrate like, hey, I can do sad, I can do angry, I can do happy, I can do silly. But maybe you're someone who's like, I have a huge range. Then that is like, okay, take short clips of each, like, a sentence or two for each character that just shows like, these are all the things I can do. So yeah, reel. Look into making a demo reel would be my advice.
Okay, sir. Well, that's all the questions I have. It was such an honor to meet you, sir.
It was really great meeting you. Thank you for being so kind and for having great questions. And I really hope you have a wonderful day.